On behalf of the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy here in South Africa, it is an honor and privilege to address and welcome you to this 5th BRICS Youth Energy Summit held here in Johannesburg, South Africa. This event takes place during Women's Month in South Africa, a month where we celebrate women's milestones and their extraordinary roles and contribution in all spheres of society.
I'd like to note that this specific event is actually epitome of something that we call the BRICS Youth Energy Cooperation. It's always about people working together, finding solutions, presenting the outlooks and reports. It's about bringing people together who've been working throughout the year and throughout the previous years, because not each time we have an opportunity to bring you to the summit, and to keep connections for the future. Energy sector and energy itself is beyond to so many sectors and industries that you'd highly likely find yourselves in other sectors beyond energy, but you'll be the same community. You'll be working together with each other and building a stronger leadership and so-called thought leadership that is incredibly important to drive the energy sector forward.
So, as a lobby group, we firmly believe that young people should play a central role in the energy space, should play a central role in the just energy transition. Young people must be at the forefront of the creation of new industries that will pop up, and that is why we commend the DMRE as well as the various stakeholders today for putting together this platform. But most importantly, we believe that BRICS, as a progressive trading bloc, should continue to promote the inclusion of young people into these various industries, as well as enhancing trade and industrialization amongst young entrepreneurs from various corners of these respective countries.
My name is Immah Ncube. I work at a company called PSR. We are a company based on Brazil with an international scope. I work in the energy transition, focusing mainly on green fuels such as green hydrogen or biofuels as a whole. And I came here, a colleague of mine told me about the events, and I thought it would be a very good event to meet people from around the world and talk a little bit more about the energy transition. So I'm very happy to be here. So far we have been, I have spoken with multiple very interesting people that are working in the energy sector. So for me it was already worth it. And I hope to learn more about how the youth is working on the energy sector and a little bit more about Africa and more specifically South Africa. So I'm very happy to be here and thank you so much.
I'm Anusha and I'm from India. Being a student and being the youth in this conference today, I feel especially, I feel special to be a part of this conference and meeting these new people from all over the world. We've been talking about things like energy access, things like critical minerals, green hydrogen and stuff. And I just feel that, integrating more youth into these things, that, this is going to be the future that they're going to get. And I really like the diversity of this conference. And going ahead, I think the youth declaration really tells us that how the 5 BRICS countries should collaborate together to, bring up more maybe nuclear power plants that could power the world, maybe, more collaboration on solar energy, hydropower and stuff like that. Being the youth, I get a lot of my friends on Instagram are already, texting me that where is this conference, how did you get in? So I think that there is this desire for being in such conferences. So I just feel that I'm going to tell them the ways to get into it, because there's a lot of diverse crowd doing a lot of different things in India. And I just want to be that link of information between them and such conferences, such platforms where they can represent themselves, they can represent India, and whatever desires they have, they can fulfill them. So that's what I'm going to take back with me.
Hello, my name is Vitor Risati. I am a member of the Latin American Observatory of Energy Geopolitics from Brazil, and I was one of the delegates of my country at the 5th BRICS Youth Energy Agency Summit. It was a really interesting experience. I believe what was more important for me was seeing other countries that are not members of BRICS being here and engaging with us, and that It's just a way to see what's the importance of BRICS around the world and what's the importance BRICS means to all these countries as well. I'm also taking back home a lot of inspiration. This event definitely made me a lot more inspired to fight for energy and justice and make my voice being heard as a youth.
I'm Immah Ncube from China, and currently I was doing my PhD in Ireland in Geography Department, and it's about the governance of the climate change and energy transition. And at the same time, I'm working with the United Nations climate change about the intergovernmental process, about the global stocktake of the Paris Agreement. So this is all I do. It's more about public policy and the governance systems of the energy transition. So the one thing that I came here to experience is really the difference of the conversation between the global north and the global south, because I had the opportunity and the pleasure to join many international conference about climate change and energy transition, but it's really different when you are attending some conference in the global north in some European country. They're talking about more about the new technology, and they're talking more about very cutting edge but not very solid ideas or solution of the really last mile of the energy transition. So what I take away here is how our energy transition can be really localized and can be really integrated into an action that everybody can take. And I think for me, as a youth ambassador and also an advocate, I would definitely bring this thing home back to my country and beyond my country to the European country, and to let them really know or hear the voices or the writing salient of the important roles and also the equality of the global south. Thank you.
The role of the youth in the energy sector is very important, and I repeat, let's leverage on digitization and social media for participation in policy making and decision making towards a just energy transition. Let's invest in the future where we will be. Let's make our voices heard. Thank you.
Smooth, but we can also catalyze the change, right? Catalyzation is making faster the processes, and I believe that is our role as youth.
Energy transition is a mechanism that actually could be an advantage that could push forward the socio-economic development of the country. But still, if it's done in not in smart way, and if not all factors are evaluated.
I'm Johannesburg from the Republic of South Sudan, and I'm attending the 5th BRICS Youth Energy Summit. And it is a timely event as we debate around global energy transition, especially with African perspective on how are we approaching that energy efficiency, given the fact that Africa lacks reliable energy, and we need young people to own the process of innovation and coming up with solutions that can address the issue of reliable energy in Africa. And I believe the energy mix is the way forward for Africa.
And we also had youth coming from different countries on the African continent. And really the issues on the agenda are energy issues, access to energy, energy poverty, and more importantly, which was a common thread in the conversation, the role of critical minerals that Africa is well endowed with in the energy dialogue as well as the just energy transition. So we had quite robust deliberations from the young people of the BRICS community, and it ended just a few minutes ago with the youth handing over a declaration, and that declaration will really be taken to the meeting of the senior officials, which was set on the 16th and 17th, hosted by the Director General of the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Emanating from the conversations of the senior officials meeting will be a report to be tabled to the ministerial meeting of BRICS energy ministers, which will be chaired by Mr Mantashe on the 18th, and that is where the declaration will find expression, and finally in the report that will go into the presidential summit.
Under its 2023 BRICS chair, South Africa has put young people at the heart of its priorities, and is ready to lead this international and intergenerational effort to catalyze youth action on enabling reliable and sustainable energy access for all.
I'm pleased that the young people met and discussed pertinent issues that are affecting the BRICS member countries together with the Global South, hence the 19 different member countries. The BRICS youth actually confirmed that it is critical and important for them to contribute to the energy discourse. Having the summit held in South Africa, they felt that it was important to focus on energy security and energy access, noting that in the rest of Africa we have over 600 million people without access to clean and sustainable energy.